we should let viewers know there will likely be more arrests coming. We actually have body camera footage of some of these members of Congress assaulting our ICE enforcement officers.
Get your officer! I got you! Miss Perez! Get your...
As most of us are aware, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey has been arrested for federal trespassing on Homeland Security property. However, we are now being told by the Department of Homeland Security members of Congress will most likely be arrested for assault and touching Homeland Security officers.
What happened is that these members of Congress, including the mayor as well, and a mob of protesters, as there was a bus full of detainees going through the gate, they stormed the gate and actually entered the first security checkpoint. This put law enforcement at risk, and this actually put the detainees as well at risk. If any official, including these members of Congress, want to enter the facility and take a tour, DHS is more than accommodating, but just because you're a member of Congress does not mean you can break the law, trespass, put law enforcement at risk, and storm the detention facility.
Alright, so a lot of people are missing context. This video right here is when the mayor of Newark, New Jersey is being arrested, and he's being brought back behind the gate. Now, this woman right here in red is a congresswoman, and she somehow finds herself behind the gate as well. Now, before we start forming our own opinions, we do need a baseline. This is assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers or employees. Forcibly assaults, resists, opposes, impedes, intimidates, or interferes with any person designated in Section 114 of this title while engaging in or on account of the performance of official duties. Okay, so we have to call this out. Multiple times in the video, this congresswoman put her hands on officers, then she made it behind the gate, and then she put her hands on officers again, and then, I don't know if you heard it, she even said, "Hey, I'm a congresswoman, you can't do this," you know, pretty much intimidating.
Including body slamming a female ICE officer, so we will be showing that to viewers very shortly.
You say a video of members of Congress body slamming ICE
That's correct.
officials?
That's correct, sir. It's disgusting.
Okay, and so if you have that video, are you suggesting that members of Congress will be arrested who were there yesterday?
This is an ongoing investigation, and that is definitely on the table.
Who has the video?
ICE does, and we will be releasing that very shortly.
Okay.
Now, here's where things get very interesting. Congresswoman MacGyver, the woman in red, she does happen to belong on the Homeland Security Oversight Committee. So a lot of people are asking, why is she even there? Well, to her, she has every right to conduct oversight, but we'll dig into it.
And myself, Congresswoman LaMonica MacGyver, and Congressman Rob Menendez. We're here conducting an oversight visit, which we had the power to do as congressional members. Statutory authority. And so that is what we're here for, and we're waiting to speak to a supervisor to let us in here because, as you can see, they will not let us in.
Now, I think you'll find this rather interesting. Homeland Security is saying they have absolutely no problem with working with somebody, especially if you are on the House Committee of Homeland Security.
If any official, including these members of Congress, want to enter the facility and take a tour, DHS is more than accommodating. But just because you're a member of Congress does not mean you can break the law, trespass, put law enforcement at risk, and storm the detention facility.
Okay, so I looked it all up, and it's true. The law does not permit anyone to just walk on in, even if you are a member of Congress, even if you are on the Oversight Committee of Homeland Security, and even if you are a Congresswoman from New Jersey.
We're watching it on the screen as you are speaking, and DHS says, quote, members of Congress are not above the law and cannot illegally break into detention facilities. So that's their statement. Why were you there in the first place? I'm assuming it was not to illegally break into a facility.
Absolutely not, Laura. Me, along with my colleagues, we have done this before in the past. We've done this with a facility just a couple of miles from there that is an ICE facility as well in New Jersey, where we perform an oversight visit. As congressional members and members of Congress, we have the right to do so. We can show up to a location, ask to be let inside via statute, and we were able to do that. I mean, this is something we've done before. This is not anything new just because of this facility. We've had a lot of issues, in New Jersey with ICE, with immigration, and literally we were there just to check on the facility, see if it was up to par. This facility started receiving detainees.
Now, something else I have to point out, she does have every right, especially being on the Oversight Committee of Homeland Security, she has every right to conduct oversight or an inspection on a facility. But the part that's very misleading is that typical protocols say, hey, let's work together and facilitate this on even grounds and make sure everything is good to go. That is the part she's missing.
As of May 1st, they have over 100 detainees already, and we wanted to go there and make sure everything was okay, speak to the detainees that were there to make sure they were okay. So we were just simply there, Laura, to do our jobs. Like, we are congressional members. Our job is oversight, and we were there to do that. That's simply it. We did not come there to try to break people out. We did not come there to cause chaos or cause any trouble. We came there to literally do the job that the people of New Jersey has elected us to do.
Okay, so that Congresswoman is talking about the inmates inside of the facility. We just wanted to make sure they were okay. Well, this is who's inside of the facility according to the Department of Homeland Security. Check this out.
I have yet to hear anyone on this network actually talk about who is in this detention facility. There are members of MS-13, known terrorists, murderers, child rapists. There are some of the worst in this detention facility, and I'm still very confused why these Democrats are so hell-bent on getting these heinous actors out of this facility when we have the proper permitting. And actually, in that press conference, those members of Congress actually noted the great conditions of this facility that our ICE enforcement officers so bravely operate.
So this is the comical part, and this is the part no one is talking about. Those members of Congress got to go into the facility because Department of Homeland Security has no problem of allowing oversight into the facility, and they said everything looks great. However, now everyone is pointing out, hey, the people you were going to check up on, they're not the greatest of people that you're talking about.
I would never have anyone accuse me of storming a federal facility. I would not have waited an hour and a half if my intent was to storm the ICE detention center. If they're so concerned about these things, they'd be more vocal critics of what happened on January 6th, and they would not be so concerned with 3 members of Congress. By the way, 2 female members of Congress and myself going there. We posed clearly no threat. They know that. They're trying to spin and gaslight the American people. It's what they've done every day of their administration.
Okay, so remember, those members of Congress are saying we did not pose a threat. We had no problems here. I actually found a way more clear clip of the time when the mayor is getting arrested. You tell me how you feel about this.
Get off of me! Get your hands off of me! Get your hands off of me! I'm not letting you. I'm not letting you. You cannot push me. You cannot push me. You cannot push me. You cannot. Congressman, get over her.
Now, I do have to point this out. Here is the mayor, and here are the members of Congress surrounding the mayor from being arrested. And the other major problem the Department of Homeland Security has is this entire situation. Now that those members of Congress made it on the other side of the gate, it's everybody else who's also pushing and shoving. We don't know what people have in this crowd. We don't even know if these people are American citizens. So as you can see, again, a lot of this comes down to intent and who's at fault. If the Department of Homeland Security can prove that these members of Congress did all of this and they caused all of this, it's going to be a very bad day for them.
What all of you watch occurred is just how reckless ICE is. It is unacceptable that me as a member of Congress, as a black woman here in this city, was just assaulted by multiple ICE officers while regional directors of ICE watched it happen. Since we toured the whole facility with them, no one offered an apology or said anything to me about what occurred out here.
Now, we have to remember the Trump administration has a very strong stance of nobody is above the law. And I know sometimes that does get overplayed, but in this instance, a lot of people are calling out to look, these members of Congress keep saying we are members of Congress throughout the entirety of this whole exchange. And it does look like either intimidation or they're trying to use their status over the Homeland Security officers. I'll let you guys decide how you feel about that.
So we were there for a tour. ICE was giving us the runaround. We finally got into a facility. We heard some noise. We came out. We found out the mayor was there, and ICE was having conversations with him. They asked him to leave the facility. He left the facility, went behind the gates, out there with the protesters. The ICE members were talking on the phone. We hear them say, all right, we're going to go to arrest him. We ask, why are you arresting him? He's not on the property. He's not on your property. They ignored us. They opened the gate. They pushed through people. There were several armed guards.
Your interpretation, and your use of words is very different from the spokesperson for DHS who was on CNN. She used the words body slamming, saying that the mayor and other members of Congress were body slamming and were being rough with the ICE officials. You're disputing that.
Yeah, so how ridiculous does that sound? They're 200 pounds. They've got about 35 pounds worth of stuff around them, including a gun on their arms. I can tell you what I think about what they're saying. The president of the United States opens his mouth every day and lies. He can't breathe without lying.
Okay, so according to that Congresswoman, nobody was body slammed. It's not even physically possible. So we will just have to wait and see what happens. As you can see, everybody has conflicting stories. And if anything, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey actually looks like he's going to get away with pretty much all of this compared to the members of Congress. In fact, he even said Homeland Security did an awesome job. They were really, really nice to him. He says that in other interviews. So let me know what you guys think about all of this pretty crazy stuff. I will not be surprised if they get arrested. I really think they will be. God bless, and we'll see you all later.